Okay, welcome back to another episode. Now, you or somebody you know has probably thought, man, should I buy real estate now? Should I buy a house now or should I wait? Is there a bubble? Man, rates are a little high. Maybe now's not the right time. House prices are a little high. Maybe now's not the right time. What I'll say, and I often tell this to clients, I get these messages all the time from clients, should I buy now? It sounds like there's a bubble coming, whatever the case may be. But I always say, Warren Buffett, the most successful stock trader in the world, ever in history, he even says, and he practices this, he does not even try to time the market that he knows arguably better than any other person on the planet. He talks about dollar cost averaging and just getting into the market. That's the important thing. And I want to echo that as it relates to housing. Just getting into the market is the most important thing. It's very unlikely you're ever going to time it perfectly where you get the lowest rate or the lowest house price, or perhaps you get unlucky and get, the current highest house price and we see a slide. The reality is so many of us that are becoming home buyers or are homeowners and considering stepping up, we have baked into our memory the 2000s, the Great Recession, right? 2007, 2008 era. And the fact is, over the past 50 to 60, maybe 70 years, we've never seen a time that a recession led to depreciating house prices, at least for any extended period of time or any significant level. We've only seen that once, and that was at one time back in 2008. But we are all baked with fear because we saw our families and our loved ones go through a lot of just bad times getting through that process. But we've now since been through another recession, which was the COVID recession. And what we saw was the exact opposite of what we saw back in 2008, which was house prices went completely bananas. Mortgage rates went super low. So what I would say is it's virtually impossible to time the market. You can never forecast a pandemic. You can never forecast some sort of, war or geopolitical issue or a natural disaster. And those are things that affect house prices and mortgage rates. Those are the things that actually affect it. You can never foresee it. What I'll encourage you to do is just get into the market, because getting into the market and owning the asset, real estate should be viewed as a long-term investment strategy, just like your other things in your retirement plan, 401k, IRA, whatever the case is. Real estate should be something like that, where you're viewing this as a long-term. You're not gambling on the market. You're not worried about timing things correctly or getting the lowest rate. There's always the opportunity to refinance, to get a lower rate. And over time, if you look historically, like here in Utah, the past 60-year average is nearly 5% appreciation on real estate long-term. Sure, there's some ups and there's some downs beyond 5%. But think of it this way, if you own, the median house price in Utah right now is about $550,000. If you buy a $550,000 property and it appreciates just at 5% per year, which is the 62-year average, that's much lower than what we've seen in recent years, which is up in the mid-20s, sometimes nearing 30%, depending on where you're at, annualized appreciation. But let's just say it appreciates at 5%. That means that every year, just by owning that home and making the house payment, which you have to make anyway, right? It's either rent or it's a house payment. By owning that home, you are going to be adding $27,000 in net worth every year. And this compounds on itself, right? Because the next year it's not worth $550 anymore. It's worth 600 or north of that. So it appreciates at 60 some odd thousand. But getting in and owning the real estate and allowing the compounding effect of appreciation to take place is what is important. Like I said, you can refinance for a lower rate if you capture the market at high rates. It doesn't really matter, but you can never get the prices from last year or last month or 2 years ago. You can never get that back. And real estate historically, especially here in Utah, has consistently grown over almost every year. And Utah also leads the nation in the appreciation rates. So the nation may be appreciating at a certain amount, say 5%. Utah is always leading the charge and generally appreciating at a higher level, but in times of depreciation, Utah is also generally, well, actually historically it's proven, it's documented, is depreciating at a lower pace than most other places in the nation. So Utah's a very special place, but getting into real estate and allowing those compounding effects to take place as soon as possible is far more important than attempting to time the market or living in fear that you might be buying in a bubble or when rates are too high or whatever the case is. There are options for virtually everybody to get into a home today with bad credit, low down payment, whatever, anything that you think might be a barrier to entry, chances are it's not. Now, it may not be the best possible loan program, which again goes back to timing things, even timing your life, buying a home based on the circumstances in your life. That's also a bad idea because you're losing this opportunity for appreciation and wealth creation. So I encourage you, get with us. Let's review your circumstance, figure out how we get you into something. And maybe that's just a bridge or a stepping stone to the next thing to create even more wealth. But let's dive into the details and stop trying to be a genius and time the market. Nobody is. And frankly, what I say is that's like gambling on the market. You can't ever pick the right time. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Loans Elevated. To stay up to date on all industry news, please follow us on all platforms at LoansElevated or at Broch Lassig. If you're interested in learning more about what your financing options are, please reach out to me and my team at 801-713-4000 or visit applywithbroch.com. I look forward to working with you.